Hi everyone, and my name is Melissa. Welcome to my channel. So today I am doing a book haul. I picked up all of these books in the month of January, so I have a lot of books to get to. So let's go ahead and jump right into these. Okay, so the first book I want to talk about I've actually already read, and that is The Wicked King by Holly Black, which is a young adult fairy series that I really enjoyed, and I continued on and picked this one up as soon as it came out. I went ahead and I talked about it in my wrap-up from January, so I'll go ahead and leave a link for that down below if you want to hear my thoughts about it. The next book I picked up was Slayer by Kristen White. This is a young adult fantasy book that is based in the Buffyverse, and I didn't really get into Buffy until about 2013 when they actually had it on Netflix, and I was able to binge watch the entire series and I had a lot of fun. So when I found out that they were writing a book based on Buffy or in that whole world, not on those actual characters, I was very excited and I ended up picking this one up. So I have become a very huge Brandon Sanderson fan, and when I saw that this book was 50% off, I went ahead and I picked it up, and that is Legion by Brandon Sanderson. To be quite honest, I'm not really quite sure what it's about. From what I gather, this guy, he has kind of these split personalities. It began with 2 novellas and then he ended up coming out with a 3rd. Basically, I don't really know too much about it, except it's written by Brandon Sanderson and it was on sale. So I went ahead and I got it. So whenever there's a brand new readathon or anything coming up, I like to pick up one of these books in the series, and I went ahead and picked up An Absent Dream by Shannon McGuire. This is the newest and 4th book in the series, and I really enjoy these. The first 2 actually made it to my best books of 2018, and I love this series so much. They're very short books, they pack a huge punch. I really enjoy them. I can probably read them in about 1 sitting, so that's why I like having them around for these kind of readathons, and I probably will pick it up a little bit later. So if you've never picked up one of these books in the series, I highly suggest you do. They are amazing and whimsical and magical, but very dark at the same time. I really love them. So this next book that I'm going to talk about, I actually have the first book in, but I haven't read it yet. And this is Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. This is a middle grade novel that they kind of compare to Harry Potter-esque, but not quite. I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm really excited to get into this. I saw this was 50% off of Barnes & Noble, and so I was like, you know what, might as well get it, because I know I'm going to go ahead and read the first one, and then why not have the second one on hand to pick up as soon as I finish. I don't know if that was the best thinking, but I am very excited to get to this series. Okay, so I picked up this book not based on the cover, but actually I heard about it before I even saw the cover, and that is Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepherd. This is about a 17-year-old girl who is actually an animal that was turned into a human by an evil witch. And when that evil witch passes away or dies or is killed, I'm not quite sure, she has only so many days to figure out what she needs to do to stay human. And it's based in Paris, and it seems like a very magical story. There's a lot of mixed reviews, so I'm going to go ahead and go into this without expecting too much, but I'm really excited because that cover. I picked up this book because I thought it might be good to add to my big book reading challenge if I run out of books, which I probably won't, but that is Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. This I picked up for 2 reasons. One, the blurb on the front, which is by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm not usually one to pick up books because of the blurb, but it's Brandon Sanderson. And the second reason is from the blurb on the back by Brent Weeks, and it says, "Guns, swords, and magic together? What more could you want? How about tense action, memorable characters, raising stakes? Brian McClellan is the real thing." So with both of those authors blurbing this, I was like, absolutely, I need this in my library, and I went ahead and I picked it up. To kind of change it around, I'm going to go to a different genre, and that would be Misconduct by Penelope Douglas. I have read the majority of Penelope Douglas's work, and I really love her Fall Away series, and I talked about it in my Valentine's reading recommendations. I flipping love this author. So this is one that I actually haven't read, and I thought I would go ahead and pick it up and give it a try. The next book that I picked up was actually one where I was kind of unsure if I was going to get it, and that was Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is a adult fantasy novel based on a girl who's a thief, and she has these magical abilities where she can touch objects and kind of get an idea of where they came from, who else has touched them, something similar to that kind of magic. So she is given a task to go steal a very powerful object, and the story kind of goes from there from what I understand. I don't know too much about this novel except that most people that I have seen have loved it, and I'm very excited to get into it soon. So after I finished The Wicked King, I went on Amazon and I needed more of fairies from Holly Black. So I went ahead and I picked up The Darkest Part of the Forest. And this, I believe, is a standalone. I'm really excited to get to it. I believe it is about a boy who is encased in glass or something like that. And he's out in the middle of the forest and nobody knows how he got there or who he is or anything. And I don't want to know anything about this book until I read it, so I'm very excited to get to this story. Another book that I went ahead and picked up was The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I have been looking for some more grim, dark fantasies after reading The Poppy War, and this is one that has been recommended time and time again. Don't really know too much about it, except that if you want grim dark, this is the best there is. Kind of a lot of people copy and mimic off of how he writes, and I'm very excited to get to this eventually because obviously I have a lot of books. This is a adult fantasy novel that I'm very excited to get to. To go back to romance novels, I went ahead and picked up A Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. This seems like it's going to be a very emotional romance because of the fact what the story is about. The main character ends up finding out that her estranged father, who lives in Alaska, is going to be passing away very soon. So she goes back to Alaska, which she hasn't been to since she was like 2 years old, to kind of reconnect with her father. So it's between this bush pilot, who I believe is running her father's company, and this city girl, their love, and the fact that, you know, she lives in the big city, he doesn't want to move away from Alaska, and kind of dealing with that. The second to last book that I went ahead and picked up is The Shadow of the Wind by this author I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I know I'm going to butcher it. I have heard nothing but absolute fabulous things about this book. It's based in Barcelona in 1945, where this boy reads this book, and it's called The Shadow of the Wind. The character makes it his duty to find all of the works by that author and to collect them, but he finds out that all of the books by that author have been either destroyed or burned or something, and he might actually have the very last copy of this book. It's based around this owner of a bookshop, and I thought it was going to be amazing, and I'm very excited. Very excited to get to it. The last book I want to talk about is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is a young adult novel where this teenage girl wants to become a pilot. She's facing a lot of struggles due to the fact that her father was a pilot and he ended up deserting his team. Apparently in this society, pride is a very big thing, and the fact that her father deserted causes a lot of issues for her. I've heard very good things about this book, so I went ahead and picked it up, and I would have anyway because it's Brandon Sanderson. This one will probably be read very soon. Alright everyone, thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. I am so excited to get to all of these books that I went ahead and picked up. Let me know if you read any of these and what you've thought about them, because I have heard a lot of mixed reviews about the majority of these. I hope you have a great day and happy reading. Bye!